Welcome to another episode of Should You Take That Case with your host, Lisa Wade, your friendly neighborhood legal nurse consultant, owner of Wade Nurse Consultants, and creator of our private LinkedIn community, the Attorney Medical Record Resource Group. That is where we get all of our stellar attorney guests. The goal of our show is to be a resource for legal professionals who pursue medical cases by sharing their experience and insights as defense or as plaintiff attorneys. You can catch prior episodes at www.wadenurseconsultants.com/blog, on LinkedIn and on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. Now here's the host of Should You Take That Case, Lisa Wade.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's a Medical Record Monday. And welcome to another episode of Should You Take That Case? You know, the goal of our show is to be a resource for legal professionals who pursue medical or medically related cases by sharing their insights and experiences as defense or plaintiff attorneys. It's me, your host, Lisa Wade. I am a legal nurse consultant, a medical record expert, and owner of Wade Nurse Consultants. But Wade Nurse Consultants, think of us when you have tons of medical records that you need transformed into normal human language, easily understood by judges and juries. I'm also the creator of a wonderful LinkedIn group, a private community, the Attorney Medical Record Resource Group. Visit us on LinkedIn because that's where we get all of our stellar attorney clients. We use this as an opportunity to get to know one another, and we're going to do that today with Aaron Marks from Georgia. But before Aaron gets over here, we are going to scoot over to the comment section and ask anybody that is visiting us, put some likes, some hearts, some emojis in there so we can see you and say hello. If you're an attorney, put an A in that chat. If you are paralegal, put a P. But if you are part of a wonderful group that I'm a part of, Women-Owned Law, put a W into that chat. Women-Owned Law, it is a groundbreaking group created to connect and advance women legal entrepreneurs. Visit us at womenownedlaw.org if that sounds interesting to you. Now, I want to thank everybody for coming here, catching us live or catching us on a replay, taking precious time out of your very busy days to join us. We really like you. Now, I am going to bring out our guest for today, and he's going to introduce himself. Let me bring out Aaron Marks. There you go. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How's the weather down there?
Very nice down here. It got pretty cold a couple weeks ago, and it's doing much better now. It's nice and brisk. It's in the 60s. It's clear, so it's nice.
Good. Well, I'm glad. Safe is nice with these weather escapades that have been going on.
Yeah, you're right. That's sad. Yes, we're not California. Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Aaron, tell us, introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Aaron Marks. I'm a personal injury attorney. I have my office in Decatur, Georgia. It's right outside the city of Atlanta. I handle all types of personal injury cases, including medical malpractice. And currently I have some medical malpractice cases, and that's me in a nutshell. I went to Georgia State for law school, got out in 2007, and it's a lot of fun to practice.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you're here with us today.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to ask you all about medical records and how they may surface during all of your cases. But first, we want to hear more about you. We want to hear how you got into this whole law gig and the branch of law that
Yeah.
you're in. What is exciting about it, and what keeps you coming back for more?
Well, I think I probably knew I wanted to be a lawyer when I figured out you could argue for a living. That sounded pretty good to me. I was leaning on my strengths. And then the type of law, I didn't necessarily even know about personal injury law. While in law school, I thought I was more headed towards real estate, corporate real estate. And when that imploded in 2008, I got out in 2007. So that was not a good place to be. So I started doing business litigation, and then that led to me looking at people on billboards and saying, I know I can do a better job than that guy, right? And you start on the bottom and you kind of work your way up. So I began doing magistrate court cases, very small stuff, small claims court, and just got more and more cases and better cases, and worked for some very smart attorneys. And now I luckily get to work with some very smart attorneys and associate, cases with. And I really enjoy, I will say this, I enjoy helping people. I mean, I have nothing against corporations. I think they're part of capitalism. It's a good thing we have them, but it's a lot more fulfilling to help individuals than helping like a giant corporation sell more sugar water. It just doesn't get me up in the day, right? Helping rich people stay richer, become richer is just, it's a job. It's a real job, but it just doesn't do it for me. So I like helping individuals, and I like that I can work on contingency, which means that I've had clients who had no money. I've had homeless clients. I've had very wealthy clients. Anybody, if they have a real case, they can hire me. So I enjoy that. So yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're one of those justice warriors.
I mean, I will say this, most of my clients are not at the heights of our society. They don't look, how our society tells people to look. They tend to be black and brown. They tend to be on the bottom of the economic ladder. Now, I've represented very wealthy people. I don't have a problem, representing people who have means. It's a lot easier, honestly, because they have health insurance. But so most of my clients, yeah, I just enjoy it. I think that how do I put it? One of the hardest things about the type of law I practice is that because it costs clients nothing to hire me, I have to be careful not to take the wrong case. I have to be incredibly, I don't want to say suspicious, but I have to just know what I'm doing, because if you don't, you lose fast. And part of that is not believing everything you're told the first time you're told to you. But you get better at that. And so I like being a lawyer a whole lot more than I did, 5 years ago, because it's just, you're better at it and you have more success and it builds upon itself. But
well, it's excellent. It sounds like you are in the right spot for you.
So I'm trying to grow in the sense that, let me put it this way. A lot of my clients are women. A lot of my clients are black and brown women. So the NIH announced a recent study, the end of 2002, that women who used hair relaxers, which is basically a chemical to straighten your hair, are 4 times more likely to develop ovarian cancer and uterine cancer. So those are a lot of my clients. So I've expanded into some products work against L'Oreal and some other defendants. And I think that as that case develops, I mean, it's already generating some interest, because there's a lot of women who have really bad outcomes when it comes to reproductive health. And so I'm talking about a population that's already sort of not given enough resources by the medical community. You add in this carcinogenic, and I think that's very exciting. I mean, it's horrible, but from my standpoint, I think that I can help those people. So.
All right. Well, it sounds like they'll be lucky to have somebody there to help and support them in the form of you.
Thank you. I hope so.
All right.
I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I like that I can figure out who it is usually.
All right. All right. That's the plan. And now you were talking about the cases you have. When a case comes across your desk, is there a process that you use to decide if it is a case you should take? What goes into that for you?
I mean, I think that I'll put it this way, no one wakes up and wants to speak to a personal injury attorney. No one is like, oh, I can't wait to make that run. You know what I mean?
Woohoo!
So, no one wants to. So the people who are calling me, who I could probably help, are calling me about something that's happened to either them or a family member, and it's really bad. And I think that I can pretty quickly determine whether someone's calling me to sort of kick tires or because they're thinking maybe, but they don't really, it's not a real claim, or if they're calling me because something horrible happened and I can help them, or I may be able to help them. But that's kind of the first way I determine whether this is a potential client, right? And there's nothing wrong with asking for legal advice, but I may not be the attorney that they need to ultimately speak with, right? That'd be the first criteria. And then all the other stuff, statute of limitations, location, all the standard things.
Okay. All right. You got a process.
I do. I think that I have I don't know if this is I won't swear on your podcast, but I have a pretty high BS meter. There's a lot of people who call. I don't know about you, but I get a lot of phone calls, and 90% of it's junk. So I still pride myself in picking up the phone 9 out of 10 times, but a lot of it's just junk.
All right. Well, when you are still maybe in the process of figuring out if it's a good case, or if you've decided it's a good case, medical records start rolling in. What kind of process or protocol do you have to address them? Is that something you do yourself? Do you have a nurse paralegal? What's your process?
So medical records, I'm glad you brought that up, because that you have to have a process for that. You have to have some kind of standard operating procedure, or else you're kind of all over the place. My thing is, I won't obtain medical records unless I've decided that this potential client is worth me taking on as a client, right? So it's secondary, right? If there are some disputes as to liability or whatever, I am not going to, expend the money and time to obtain the medical records. But once we've decided that it's worth it, 9 out of 10 times, I will have my paralegal obtain them, and we use a third party named ZB. I think they're out of Colorado, and they're not perfect, but they've gotten really good because they are just trying, they try to get it right. And most of the time they do. And we've been happy with that, because I have much better things. You have to delegate. And if I were on the phone doing records, I wouldn't be able to do the other stuff I need to do. And that's how I feel about my paralegal as well.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Well, so it seems you kind of farm that out when your medical records. So I'm just going to ask if there are, and if there are any pet peeves or annoying things that you find around medical records, or are you completely removed from that?
I'm pretty removed. I will say this. So MRI films, okay? I get it. There are a lot of data, but this is 2023. They don't have to be on a physical disc. And I think that we're slowly getting there, but I I don't really have a lot of other interaction other than looking for the disc, everything else is already there. So I think, it's just a matter of computing. And I think that that will become easier and easier as technology improves. So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, you're not an MRI guy or disc guy.
I'm not a disc guy. It just adds one more step, one more thing to do incorrectly,
But you know what? You've given us a lot of insights into what you do and why you do it. Is there any other things that you want to add and sum up? Any advice for new attorneys in this realm or veteran attorneys? Anything else you want to share?
I think a new attorney should not be afraid to ask. And if they don't have a good group of other colleagues they can ask, they should join their local organization, whether it's the trial lawyer organization, the defense lawyer organization, but it's got to be local. And they've got to just put their heads in there, even though they may be the dumbest one in the room, because they're the greenest one in the room. They got to do it. It'll be awkward, but it will be very important, very valuable for them. I think most people graduate from law school totally unprepared to practice law. That's a whole nother ball of wax. So if you're new and you're practicing, you need to join at least one of those organizations and kind of, it's okay to be ignorant. You're just starting out. Everyone starts out and ask questions, because if you don't, you're going to, chances are something's going to go wrong. And you don't want a malpractice claim, and also get malpractice insurance. I would say those two things for the ones that are just starting out.
Hey, that sounds like excellent advice.
It's not glamorous, right? It's very humbling, but you got to do it. You got to do it.
All right. It's not fancy, but it's true. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's uncomfortable, going through law school, you're expected to know the answer. It's uncomfortable to be an adult, right? Supposedly is smart and just doesn't know the answer to a lot of these important questions, but they didn't teach that stuff to you in law school. Or if they did, you were out that day or something. You know what I mean? You still got to figure out the answer.
I hear you. Well, it's great having you here. Aaron, you've got good insights. You got good advice. And now is the part of our show when a little Q&A is coming. Are you ready to answer some questions?
It sounds great. Let's do it, Lisa.
All right. Well, while folks are out there catching us live and they're getting their questions together, even on the replay, you can put a question in there. But while you're getting your questions together out there to add to the comments for Aaron to answer, now we come to what I call a tiny sponsor break. So that's where I tell you a little bit about Wade Nurse Consultants and what we do here, and then we'll get right back to Aaron. Okay. Now, without a review and summary of medical records, it might be harder for you to know if you should take that case as a PI or personal injury or med-mal attorney. And here at Wade Nurse Consultants, we give you a 1 to 2 page synopsis and opinion regarding the merits of those medically related cases, using my 30 plus years of nursing experience to make quick work of medical case screenings. So if you are watching this and you have your own nurse paralegal on the payroll, this isn't for you. But if you have a pile of medical case screenings on your desk, a backlog, and you need to get those completed, here is what you need to do. Right now, we are offering a free 20-minute medical records strategy call to help you hone an efficient, timely, and a cost-effective routine around your medical cases. And inside the description box of this YouTube channel, you're going to find a link to schedule a free consultation. And now it's time to get back to Aaron Marks and his Q&A. All right, Aaron, let's take a peek. Are there any questions for you? Not yet.
I don't see them.
Not yet. But that happens sometimes.
It happens.
And I have a plan.
Okay.
This is the plan. Inside the description box of this YouTube channel, I have filled your contact information already. So if anybody catching us on the replay has a question for you, they can use your contact information, get to you, and ask you themselves. Does that sound like a plan?
That sounds like a great plan.
All right. But I have one question for you, Aaron. Will you do this again?
Sure. Sounds good.
All right. All right.
I would love to, at another time when the science is more developed, I can share the NIH study with you, because I actually am curious what you think about that, the connection between the cancer and the chemicals used in those hair relaxers.
All right. Well, listen, you've given me something on my list of things to research. So I'm down with that. No problem. Great. Maybe we'll discuss it when you come back again.
Maybe we should.
I'll be prepared.
I'll send it to you.
All right. Sounds good. All right. I think we are winding up for today with our episode of Should You Take That Case? And let me just thank you again for coming, Aaron.
Thank you.
And remind the people out there to like this show, subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you have any legal nurse consulting questions, reach out to me, Lisa at WadeNurseConsultants.com. But for now, you can catch us next week, Monday, 5:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a brand new episode of Should You Take That Case? And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching and listening to another episode of Should You Take That Case with your host, Lisa Wade, your friendly neighborhood legal nurse consultant, owner of Wade Nurse Consultants, and creator of our private LinkedIn community, the Attorney Medical Record Resource Group. That is where we get all of our stellar attorney guests. The goal of our show is to be a resource for legal professionals who pursue medical cases by sharing their experiences and insights as defense or as plaintiff attorneys. You can catch prior episodes at www.wadenurseconsultants.com/blog, on LinkedIn, and on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel and sharing this show with others.